If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Cynical Militia. You are listening to Professor Cynical on all available frequencies. This is not a test. Coming to you from a studio in Glasgow, this is Professor Cynical.
Good day, you absolute legends. Will we see the next tier of emoji? Because right now we are sitting at level 2. There are 4 levels of emoji. Now, the first level is that we've already had it, is Mr. Murray announces an update over on X or Twitter or whatever it is you want to call it. Everyone calls it something different these days, where he'll post a singular emoji. Now, the emoji is different every time for every update, but this time round it's a door, and that tells us in the No Man's Sky community that there is an update pending and it's going to be available very soon. But with just a singular tier emoji like that, the update isn't going to be a massive thing. It might just include a few bits and pieces, but nothing to write home about. But like I said, there are different tiers of emojis, and that signifies more content. Right now, we're on the next stage, which is posting 3 of the same emojis all together. Now, we have the 3-door emoji, as everyone calls it, and that signifies that there is going to be a little bit of meat added into this update. In regards to what that could be, well, the speculation is speculation and everyone has different ideas. But at the very least, we can expect a new expedition, new cosmetic eye candies, and maybe some new, bug fixes and quality of life updates. That's kind of the level that we're at right now. There could be some more added in that, but that's probably the surefire bet. However, there is a 3rd tier and a 4th tier. The 3rd tier is now what we are hoping to see, and I hope we do see it. And it is the cowboy emoji. The cowboy emoji is the next tier up, and it signifies essentially that there's going to be even more content added into the update. So that could then be, for example, new things to do in the game, not just past eye candy, but actual meaningful mechanics being added into the game. So if we see that, everyone's going to get that much more excited, because it means it's just got a bigger update, announcement essentially. But there is the one emoji that everybody looks out for, and there is good reason, and that is the No Man's Sky GIB emoji. Now, the GIB emoji, ladies and gentlemen, is only reserved for the pinnacle, the best that Hello Games can put out, and that we have seen on things like Worlds Part 1, for example. Worlds Part 2, massive updates that change the game in such a way, it changes it forever. Now, Worlds Part 1, Worlds Part 2 did that because it changed pretty much everything on the planet, everything above ground, below ground. We had gas giants. It was massive. It was a massive update. And then we've seen it again with the latest one that we just had, Voyagers, which introduced Corvette ships into the game. And I don't need to tell you how much that changed the game for everybody playing. It was the biggest, best update, in my opinion, ever. I liked it way more than Worlds Part 1, Worlds Part 2, and I already thought that was the pinnacle of No Man's Sky at that point. But no, Voyagers blew my mind with that, and, adding Corvettes into the game, do I need to say anything more than that? It just changed everything. It really did. So that is what the GIB emoji signifies. Will we see that this time around? Well, it is very late on in the year now, and this is probably going to be the very last update before the Christmas and New Year period. So this is essentially the last update, in my mind, of 2025. So whilst it's not out of the realm of possibility, remember, we have just had Voyagers. So I've never known, and this is going back off previous history and previous updates, because I've been covering No Man's Sky now for many years. I've not known a GIB emoji level update to run consecutively, back to back. So what I heavily suspect is we very well may see a cowboy emoji, and that very much now is what the team is kind of hoping for. And there is some speculation that Mr. Murray very well might do that, and we'll get onto that in just a second. But at the very least, the 3-tier emoji is where we are at. So as we know, whenever there is an update announced, I go on what's called a Murray Watch, which means I will watch Mr. Murray's page more closely than what I already do. Now, over on X or Twitter again, or wherever it is you want to call it, under his reply section, now Mr. Murray's not known for replying to comments or anything else like that. He's not really that sort of chatty guy. Normally he'll just put a post up and that's it, basically. And he might respond to a comment underneath one of his posts, but never responding out with that. So under his replies, this is where it got very interesting, because Shamdawai put this image of a cowboy emoji. The head's in the wrong position, but never mind, it's Halloween. And he put, "I got you, Norman Sky." Mr. Murray replied with, "Nearly." So does that mean that Mr. Murray is implying that there very well could be a cowboy emoji? The fact that he's even responded to that raises a lot of questions, especially those who know his patterns. So we'll have to wait and see, but it does indicate, in my opinion, that we very well may see that next tier of the emoji spectrum. We very well may get that cowboy emoji, which is very, very exciting stuff. Now, you guys have been very vocal in the last few videos that I've made. Now, the one that I made yesterday was absolutely incredible. You guys absolutely loved it, and you made your opinions heard. And yeah, this is what you guys had to say. First comment we have here with 41 likes, which is absolutely incredible. "Maybe it will be a Corvette door that stays closed in space. Tell me about it. Preach the gospel." Absolutely agree with you 100%. That is my main annoyance. It's so frustrating. Mine always opens up for no reason. It doesn't harm anything, but bugs me. Completely agree. That's what I mean. Just preach it. I mean, you find that frustrating. I find that frustrating, and no doubt everybody finds that frustrating, going off the amount of likes that you got. I mean, absolutely. It's the most annoying thing. It's not, like you say, it's not because it causes any harm, but it's cosmetically displeasing. You know it's open, it's a constant bug, and it's always in the back of your mind knowing that it's open. That's the worst thing about it. So hopefully they fix that, and I'm hoping with this update they might even add new doors in as well, like different types and, you know, different bays and so on. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, completely agree with you. Amazing comment. The next comment we have is "Trick or treat is knocking on a door." So I mean, like I said, it very well could be a Halloween update. I mean, what, it's only 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks or whatever it is until we get to the spooky season, until it's Halloween. And last year we did get a Halloween update. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that we'll get another update this time around, very much centered around Halloween, and maybe there'll be an expedition around that kind of concept as well. So it very well may be Halloween themed, this update, which again is incredible. I mean, I love Halloween, and that's absolutely no secret. I like it more than Christmas. Now, the next comment goes like this: "This door could be a portal to the world of glass, also known in the community as the realm of glass also." And there is some weight behind this, because there is anticipated to be in an update at some point a realm of glass, and it's already in game in lore right now, kind of. So whenever you go up to the space station core and you try and unlock it, obviously we all know nothing happens, but you do have the key in order to do so. But whenever you do get the station override key in the station core, it says glass, glass, glass. And many have speculated that it will take you to the realm of glass, where you'll get a certain amount of time on this particular realm or planet or wherever it seems to be, and you'll get very exclusive items you won't find anywhere else in the galaxy, resources and so on. So maybe, you know, they're opening the door to that realm of glass. So there is very much a very real possibility right now that that's why it could be, and especially being like a Halloween spooky season thing, if that's the way they're going down this time around. But again, we already had an update like that last year, so maybe it will give us a haunted, you know, realm of glass vibe-esque thing to go to. it's not the realm of possibility. So absolutely fantastic comment. Then the next comment goes like this. The door as a literal door. There is some unused space in the anomaly and on space stations where doors could fit. So maybe customizable apartments to buy/rent there. Again, there is speculation going about that once you unlock the space station core, a lot of people would really like the function and the feature of you're able to actually then own your own space station. So, that very well would fit into that, because maybe you could build apartments, rent out apartments, or, build and rent out shops, even in the anomaly, maybe it's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't know how it would work in the anomaly, however, but in a space station, I can definitely see your point. But I mean, guys, let me know in the comment section, how do you think that would work if you could own your own space station? Would you go ahead and, build apartments for people to rent out, or landing bays, or whatever? I mean, how do you think that would all work? Maybe you could charge people like a toll for, coming in and landing on your space station, and charge them by the minute or something. I mean, that would be pretty funny. I don't think that would ever happen, but that would be pretty funny. But yeah, good comment. Now, our next comment here, and it was something I'm going to speak about anyway later on, but we might as well, take the bull by the horns whilst it's here. But here we go. Doors open, but they also close. Something new, something closed. Now, I think that is referring to the upcoming game of Light Nor Fire. Now, there is an anticipation that Hello Games will be announcing Light Nor Fire at some point this year. Now, it's already getting up pretty close to the end of the year, so we are expecting that any time. There is the Game Awards on December 13th, I want to say. Someone correct me in the comment section. But in December, the Game Awards, and as we know, the Game Awards is when they already introduced us to Light Nor Fire in the first place with a trailer. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that this year they will be announcing a release date. I don't think they're just going to announce the game on stage there and then it's open to everybody. I mean, that would be freaking fantastic, and it would be a great Christmas present. But I think they're going to announce maybe a new trailer and, more importantly, a release date or an anticipated date, because everything always gets pushed back anyway. But a lot of people online, and this is what I was going to speak about, a lot of people online, and they say it every single update. We've had plenty of conversations about this before, but it always goes by the same narrative. This will be one of the last updates. No Man's Sky is an aging game. The support will start dwindling down, and then the updates will eventually stop and whatnot, especially when Light Nor Fire comes out. Again, with that comment, doors open, but they also close. I've been seeing that a lot because it is a door emoji, and I'm seeing a lot of people say it online, especially in No Man's Sky circles. Now, what do I think about this? Now, at the end of the day, yes, we know that No Man's Sky is an aging game, but let's look at what's just happened this year. Let's look at what happened last year. Development isn't slowing down. It's not, the content every update isn't getting less and less and less. It's doing the complete opposite. It's getting bigger. Every content update is getting more ambitious. And I know it will happen eventually, I'm not going to say, it's going to be, perfect forever and they're going to continue it forever. No company does that. And, let's just all accept that and move on. Eventually it will happen. But it's not going to happen for a while. I mean, like I said, they've introduced Worlds Part 1, Worlds Part 2, the Voyagers update. I mean, come on, they're just increasing the sizes of the update. They're not decreasing them. I'd be very worried when an entire year goes by and all we got to show for it is maybe a few bug updates or maybe a few cosmetic things here and there. And if an entire year goes by and that's all we get by the end of that year, then I'll agree with you. And then I'll say, look, maybe that's it. It's time. No Man's Sky is going into the great yonder, support's going to start dwindling quite massively and so on and so forth. But we are not there yet. And I don't think we're going to be there yet for another few years. That's what I think. Now, with that being said, we know that No Man's Sky and Light Nor Fire will eventually join at the hips, come head to head, and there'll be, each one of them will be demanding Hello Games attention for fixes and bug fixes and content updates and so on. So support then might start dwindling down, but it won't stop either. It's just one of those things. But I don't think, like I said, I still don't think that No Man's Sky is going to cease getting updates or content updates because they have been making and developing Light No Fire, which is incredibly more difficult than just maintaining it and adding updates here, there, and everywhere, whilst also updating No Man's Sky and adding content updates. So they've already shown that they can do the two. And when Light No Fire comes out, it'll be a bit more easier on the studio, and then they can maybe divert resources to both games more equally, because you don't need to develop an entire freaking game from scratch. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, good comment, but I've just wanted to speak about that because a lot of people have been mentioning that online, and I wanted to nip it in the bud before, people start really thinking it, because that's what happens every single year. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is the sales. What's happening with that space? Because as we all know, whenever there is an emoji announcement, we know the update's coming. But first of all, we need to have sales, and we need to see it on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, and Nintendo. But right now, at the time of this recording, which is at 10:30 a.m. on GMT time, so, British time, whatever it is you want to call it, I've checked all of the sites, and as you can see right now, nothing has gone on sale yet. But that could change even today. I could literally put this video out, and the second I do, things start to happen, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But we are waiting for 3 of them. The 3 main ones is Xbox to go on sale, PlayStation to go on sale, and Steam to go on sale, normally around about the 60% off market. Once all 3 go on sale, that is when the update will be dropping imminently. It could be that day or the day after. And, that brings me on very nicely to the next discussion that I'm sure is on your mind and everybody else's mind. When will the update drop? Now, there is many ways we can look at this, but if we go back off of previous information and previous times this has happened, there are 2 particular days that updates like to drop on. It's the most likely time. And don't get me wrong, and I will say this as a quick disclaimer, that the update can drop on any day, and it's not unusual for it to drop on a Monday, Tuesday, and so on. However, the most times it has dropped is on a Wednesday, and then second to that is a Friday. Now, usually, updates, once announced, take anywhere between 3 to 5 business days, and then we see the update drop. Usually. Sometimes it can be longer, sometimes it's shorter. But depending on the way that this works, we could see it as very early as the 22nd, which is Wednesday, or the 24th, which is Friday. That's how close it is. But remember, we still haven't yet had the sales. So unless things start happening today and tomorrow, then Wednesday would not be it. It would probably then likely be Friday. But I'll keep you in the loop if anything changes. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you guys think we are going to see the cowboy emoji this time around. And what would be included in the cowboy emoji? What kind of content update do you think we're going to get with a cowboy emoji? And also, let's place bets. Do you think we're going to see the gib emoji this time around? And if we see the gib emoji, I would be very surprised, but if we did see the gib emoji, what do you think then we are looking at in terms of content? Let me know your thoughts, your speculations, your feelings about this and the entirety of this video today. Comment section down below, you know what to do. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's everything from me here today, and as always, my name is Professor Cynical, and I'll catch you all again in the next one. Bye for now.
Join the Cynical Militia on Professor Cynical's Patreon. No exclusive perks needed. Just your passion for epic space adventures and bold discussions keeps the galaxy spinning. Choose your tier. Fuel the mission. Repent jar. $1 a month. Forgiveness for your ad block sins. A pack of Monster. $5 a month. Keep the creative thrusters firing. Absolute legends. $10 a month. That got me thinking. $50 a month. A bold, questionable financial decision that screams you're all in. Why join? Every pledge strengthens the Cynical Militia, keeping Professor Cynical's YouTube channel a thriving hub for No Man's Sky fans, craving news, updates, and unfiltered discussions. You're not just a supporter, you're part of a galactic community that dares to explore and think differently. Don't just traverse the stars, own them. Enlist now at patreon.com/ProfessorCynical1 and let's conquer the No Man's Sky universe together.